Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. What we've got for you today is 3 decks, some tips, and a review of multiple bundles. If you haven't watched in a while, we no longer are just doing deck guides here. We still bring you at least 2 brand new decks every single weekday here on the channel. But in addition to those decks, we are also bringing you everything else you can need in Marvel Snap, whether that be news, whether that be bundle reviews, whatever you need for Marvel Snap. This is your one-stop shop. We still bring you all the best decks before the meta adjusts. Make sure you hit sub, make sure you like, make sure you comment. We are finishing up. This is the last full video before the giveaway kicks off. I guess there will be one more day, Monday morning, for the biggest giveaway in all of Marvel Snap. We are giving away 15 season passes, 5 here on YouTube. All you have to do is sub and comment any video from last Tuesday until tomorrow. We're also giving away 5 more on Twitter and 5 more Marvel Snap Zone, so make sure you check those 2 places out if you'd like to enter to win. We're trying to make sure that everyone can enjoy the game in the best way possible. And a reminder, in Marvel Snap, with just the season pass and optimal spending, you can get every card in the game. It's going to take time, obviously, if you're further away. But if you're close to series complete, just buying the season pass and optimal spending keeps you there, which means if you spend optimally without that, you're getting closer and you're going to get there. Let's keep going. We have the following format for you today. We have a deck from KM Best. We don't usually cover KM Best decks on this channel. I like Cam. We get along wonderfully. I think he's a phenomenal player, very good person. However, if he releases a deck, everyone's going to be playing it. So we're doing this deck for 2 reasons. One, he just released it yesterday, so maybe you can get a chance at it before other people do if you start playing it today. And 2, because he's so influential at this point, within a few days, if not immediately, this is going to be everywhere, which means you need to know what it is, how to play it, and how to play against it. Our intermission number 1 is going to be a look at 2 different bundles, whether they're worth it, what you should do with them, and my thoughts there. 3 is Teledadman. This is one of the LambyFam on Lamby's Discord. Lamby's Discord is one of the coolest places in all of Marvel Snap. Myth, twitter.com/mythsnap, tagged me and was like, you need to try this deck. I tried the deck. It's sick. You should absolutely play it. People are getting infinite. Teledadman got multiple infinity borders with it. This is a bounce deck that can actually handle. We'll talk about how as we go. Then we've got intermission 2. I've got a bunch of pro tips. I think I've still got like 45 left to get through. Today's are going to be Browday's tips for playing Conquest. This is a fairly advanced tip, but we're in Conquest Infinity Week, so this is for people trying to get the Infinity Border who know the meta. We've got tips. We've also got Juno2Tress at Twitch.tv or Twitter.com. Either way, it's the same name, Juno2Tress, with a really cool Valkyrie deck. And finally, we'll look at my shop. Fair warning, not crazy about my shop, but I did get a new hip from the season pass post 50 thing. So we'll show you what that new hip is at the end of the video. Let's get started. First things first, this is 70% win rate, KM Loki. So what I really like about this, as opposed to the Lamby Bounce, which is mostly what I've been playing and having great success with, just for the record, is this runs Quinjet and Sentinel. Quinjet and Sentinel with Werewolf by Night are absolutely bonkers together. So you have a 1 cost on reveal that replaces itself for every turn. So as long as you can fit that in, you can make your Werewolf huge. And because you should have priority, you should be able to play this anywhere. It should be relatively simple to work around cards like Shang-Chi. The other thing that's really cool here, the other card that's really cool and different, is you need a lot of space to do this, and Green Goblin gives you an on-reveal to move Werewolf that does not take up a space on your side of the board. Instead, it clogs them, and that's a really cool thought too. But what I'm really here for, is that Sentinel Quinjet. I think Quinjet with Sentinel is just really strong right now. Let's take a look at some more. We'll get to play-by-play, then we'll get to the variants of the deck. All right, Nico can be Spider-Ham, Iceman, or Mirage. If you don't have Nico, you're losing a little bit with each one, but I think that all 3 of those cards are absolutely stellar right now. The big loss of changes you can make a Snow Guard can be Agent 13. 1 card versus 2 is hard to overstate, and the Inshinaut deck is around. And just being able to, even on turn 5, if you think they're going to leech, just being able to play that Snowbird is extraordinarily powerful in turning that match around. Also really, really, really strong if you run into the Hela Tribunal deck, which is one of the best Infinite Conquest decks this season. That Snowguard Bird, taking care of just in general bad locations, but specifically on turn 5 or 6 Limbo is game winning. For this version, you need Loki, you need Werewolf. No questions asked, you must have them. Let's keep going. All right, turn by turn, Cam thinks this is the best deck in the game. I have not played it enough to definitively agree, but look, the best deck in the game right now is almost certainly a variation on the Loki deck that has Werewolf by Night in it. I would bet it has Collector, and it probably has Quinjet, but the Lamby one doesn't. The Lamby one's really good, so it's close. All right, turn 1, Quinjet if you have Loki or Sentinel in hand. If not, you're dropping Maria, and if not, you're dropping Snowguard. Turn 2, I generally want to get Collector out more than anything else. Collector is backbreaking. I like to play Collector into that blind location because if that blind location is something that Collector can win, it often does all by himself. He ends up being like a 2/11. It's completely silly. Turn 3, Collector. If you're going to Loki and you didn't get him out to Zunder, Collector is your priority over Werewolf if you know you're Lokiing on 4. And if not, then you're dropping Werewolf. There are times when you drop Werewolf and then you drop like Collector and a Sentinel on 4, and that's perfectly fine. You can Loki with a 1 on 5. Turn 5, Loki and turn 4, Loki, which will start moving Wolf. If not, start moving Wolf with various cards to start ping-ponging it around the board. This is a really good spot for a 1-cost Sentinel and a Green Goblin. Turn 5, Loki and a 1 if you can. Sentinel is a 1 with Quinjet, which is your reminder that is completely insanely strong with Werewolf. Feel free to Shang here if the target is obvious. Like if they dropped no one's really running She-Hulk after Shuri anymore. So, which would be Shuri on 4, Pass on 5, She-Hulk, and Taskmaster on 6, because Alioth sort of killed that play. But you can still since everyone's basically going to play their Red Skull or their Vision right after the Shuri. If you don't have priority, you can safely Shang then. So, if not, you just sort of dump whatever you can, and turn 6, 2 1s and Shang or their cards. Ideally, you're playing their cards. This deck is specifically built for that. But again, you can win otherwise without their cards, because Werewolf should be humongous, and Shang-Chi wins games. Collector can get quite big just from Snowguard, Maria Hill, Sentinel, and Falcon without really having to worry about it. There's a lot of ways to win with this deck. It's really, really strong. Let's do a quick variant talk. We talked about most of these in the past, so I'm going to go relatively quickly. We've got our Noir Maria Hill, who misses her friend Noir Coulson. We've got Midnight Suns at Nico, which is the best of the Nikos for my money of those that have been out. I had the Spotlight Cash ready for the other one, but I decided I like this one better. I have this Quinjet, which I bought specifically because if you haven't seen it animated, the propellers go, and it's adorable. I like this Snowguard for Loki decks. I also have the Spotlight one, but this one feels better for Loki decks for whatever reason. Sadly, we are at 1 hip. Only hip Collector remains of the 6 hips that used to be in this deck. It used to be hip Collector, and then hip Jeff, and then hip Elsa, and hip Mobius, and now it's just Collector, the last hip standing. We've got this Falcon. I usually use a different one, but I figured since I have this one, I'd show it off. It's reasonably cool. I don't like it as much as the one you'll see in a deck later today. This Sentinel came from the Nimrod season. It's the only Sentinel variant I have, but it is really cool, so I'm not sad. Green Goblin, Red Goblin, Carnageized Goblin is from Conquest a few seasons ago. Perfectly fine variant. Again, not my favorite. I call me traditional, but I like my Green Goblin to be green. This is the best Werewolf by Night out right now. I don't usually love Greg Land, but this is fantastic, and it's way better than base art, which is Rat by Night. We've got Baby Shang and Baby America. I decided why not go with Double Baby here since we could. And finally, as you can see, I had people vote in the comments a few days ago. Time has lost all meaning. Whether I should get this Loki or not, I did. It's gold. It's gorgeous. I like it a lot. I still don't know if I like it as much as the one they gave us with the season pass, but I'm perfectly happy to have this one. Plus, Loki in New York. If you don't know I'm from the Bronx, I'm all for it. All right. Next up, we've got the high stakes bundle. This is an incredible bundle. There is one better coming up that you should look out for. It's called Sugar and Spice. It's a better gold only bundle than this, but this is like the bottom level of like must buy. You can see, hopefully, that by the 6,000 that I haven't bought it, I have wailed the F out, and I have way too many materials. Like I've still got 52,000 tokens. Um, and I don't like this Dracula bluntly. I want my Dracula to look like Bela Lugosi or like Castlevania. This is weird Marvel Dracula, and I'm not a big fan. So whatever to this Dracula, which is perfectly nice art, just doesn't feel like Dracula to me, so I don't want it. And while the tokens would be nice, it's going to be quite a while before I run out of tokens, so I decided to just sort of blow that off. The 2,000 credits would be nice, but it's only 2,000, so like whatever, I can get that for $10 instead of like $60 worth of gold. If that said, you should probably buy this unless you are like welled out end game complete. If you are trying to climb, this is one of the best things you can buy. Collector's tokens are amazing. I've heard people say on various channels that collector's tokens aren't as good as they used to be. That's complete nonsense. We've all done the math. Sorry, I haven't done the math. The people who are really good at math, who you should listen to for math, have done the math. Collector's tokens have every bit of value they've always had. Uh, this is an extra card fundamentally for 6,000 gold, and you should get it if you can. It's worth remembering that each time you buy an amount of gold from the in-game shop, but it has to be from the in-game shop, you're getting double that amount for each amount. So if you buy $5 of gold, you get double the $5 amount of gold. If you buy $10 of gold, you get double the $10 amount of gold for the first time you buy each. So that extra means that this is a really good time to buy this. I, again, strongly urge you, if you're going to spend to grab this, unless you can only afford one, then please do me a favor, look up the Sugar and Spice bundle, save up for that. It's slightly better. This is the next best thing. And Sugar and Spice could still be changed, right? Like, there's no guarantee it comes out exactly. Next up on the web shop, which would be go to marvelsnap.com or Newverse and press the shop button, there's an exclusive duo of bundles. They are both ignore my Philippine money. I definitely use a VPN. By the way, whatchamacallit, Opera has a built-in VPN, so you just type it if you use Opera as your web browser, you can go to their website, put your VPN on, make yourself Philippines, have a great time. You get like $1 or $2 discount each time. I do it because I buy like 17 or 18 season passes a season for people, so like the savings add up. If I was buying just one, I probably wouldn't, but because I end up buying so many for so many people, I definitely do. It's $10. So for $9.99 American money, you can get this Wolverine or this Carnage. It's worth noting that the Wolverine is 2,100 credits and the Carnage is 1,600 credits. The Carnage variant is a 1,200 gold variant, while the Wolverine is a 700 gold variant. That's the difference of these two. The Wolverine is about the value, a little bit more value than a Token Tuesday, and the Carnage is a worse value than a Token Tuesday. It's perfectly fine if you're in the market for that. I really don't like that Wolverine, and I have a Carnage I use. I have like 3 Wolverines I like more than this. I feel no real like urge to buy this. So, if you were considering buying a Token Tuesday, right, and you were going to buy gold for that, you can grab this and get slightly more value. Oh, not great. The Carnage variant is really nice though. If you like it, I don't suggest spending real money on things that are below curve, in terms of like progression, because when spending real money, you usually get better progression, not worse. Like the cash bundles are better than the gold bundles in the game as a general rule in terms of progression. So like if you're spending cash, I strongly urge you to save your cash for a better deal. We always get those. Oh, next deck. We've got Teledadman's Darkhawk Bounce, which won Infinity Conquest 2 times. And then all of the LambyFam on the Discord played it and completely rocked face with it. And then I played it, and holy crap, I won with it. And then I posted it on my Discord, and a bunch of people who had the right cards started winning with it. This deck is sick. So what you basically want to do is you want to use your Bast, Korg, Nico, Black Widow to disrupt early. Then you want to use that kind of stuff to move Werewolf around. You want to, um, on turn 4, Beast and Falcon back what you can, and you want to hand dump on turn 5. Specifically, Spider Ham on either turn 4 or turn 5 is absolutely fantastic. There's such a good chance of you hitting a card like Taskmaster at that point that they've had in their hand but been unable to play. That it's an absolutely stellar play. You've also stopped their draws, right? So they're stuck playing what's in hand. Um, Moving more and more with Black Widow, excuse me, and Korg, moving more and more of their important cards into that spot that Spider Ham will hit. So you want to make sure you're Spider Hamming late in the game if at all possible. Because if you Spider Ham early, they might never play that card, and then Ham is just going to keep hitting the same damn card. Plus, it's a one cost move for Werewolf, so is Korg, so is Hood, so is Bast, etc. Um, Bast will lose you a power on Beast, but everything else in the deck is at least neutral. Try and make sure not to Bast yourself a demon from the Hood. You will feel silly. It will happen from time to time. I've seen it happen to Lambie. It happens to everyone. Turn 6 is basically Darkhawk in one lane where Darkhawk will win, and then Shadow King another lane, which means they lose power and Werewolf moves to that lane, and you win. It's really easy to throw priority here because look at the power of everything but Werewolf and Darkhawk, right? You should be able to chuck your priority relatively easily. So that's the gist of this one. It is not easy to play, but extraordinarily powerful. Okay, Ham can be Iceman and Nico can be Forge. I've often found myself wanting Forge in this. There is no spot for it. Every card here is completely needed. Um, but Ham can be Iceman, and again, you're losing a fair amount by doing that. Don't think that like it's not a loss. Anytime I do a deck replacement, you're losing some. And Werewolf and Darkhawk are an optional. They're your like win conditions. If you see Werewolf and Darkhawk, that's usually my snap. I've got both. I feel like I'm in good shape to win the game as a general rule. If I've only got one, I still can win, but it's much harder. Okay. Uh, Make sure if you haven't that you look for Lambie's Discord. You can go into his stream and do the like exclamation point Discord, or you can check his Twitter to find it. It's one of the best communities in Snap. It's my like third most used Snap Discord. I obviously have my little home on the Marvel Snap Zone Discord, and then I spend a lot of time on my friend Fozzer's Discord because I just know everyone there. And then probably next most is Lambie's. So it's just fantastic. Nice people, super competitive, super smart, really like supportive. Great place. All right, turn one Korg equals Bast. It really depends on your hand. If you've got like Hood in hand, Bast is obviously a priority. If not, Korg up, get that, give them more chance to draw that rock. Um, you will play Hood over nothing. I would generally not play. Turn two, I want a Widow or two ones. Here, I will probably Ham if I just don't have anything else. Turn three is Werewolf. That is your absolute bar none priority. Turn four, Beast or Falcon with whatever you can. I like to get these cards back in my hand to dump on turn 5, again, short of Darkhawk and Shadow King. I'm now moving around that Werewolf. Um, Turn 6 is Darkhawk and Shadow King, win the game, have a great time. Cool. There are other play lines, other patterns here, but if you start with that, that will give you enough of a leg up that you should be winning games of Snap. You should have a positive win rate. You should. Okay. Teledadman's Darkhawk Bounce. Let's talk some variants. This is more like it. We've got 5 hips. We've got our Bast, Spider-Ham, Korg, Black Widow, and Beast. As all things should be. That Bast, by the way, is one of my favorite variants in the game. I told you we'd see the other Falcon. This is the steampunk one. This is the only Shadow King I have. It's great. I accidentally put the wrong werewolf in. This is the Rat by Night Sag. Uh, we've got Noir Hood because Noir is my second type variant. This is the only Nico variant I have. Also, by the way, you notice Nico doesn't appear anywhere in the turn by turn because her abilities are so varied. You can't turn by turn her. It's when the time is right. When you see something crazy, you can copy, or like a +2 that would really, really help you get over the top, or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, I got this Darkhawk. I don't like it as much as the like cool, like almost Darth Vader-y looking one that I usually use. But since I pulled this one randomly from a season pass track or from a mystery variant, then I'm using it. And we love Jane McKelvey art, so we've got Jane McKelvey America Chavez in. Next up, Marvel Snap pro tip number 2. I am throwing pro tips in here and there, basically whenever there's an extra free spot. These are from our friend Browday. And what we're looking at is what can your opponent's plays tell you. So after your opponent makes a play, especially Infinity Conquest, you want to ask what you know about their deck now. And the obvious thing is, well, what else are they playing? Right? If they're playing Zabu, you should be assuming Darkhawk. If they're playing I don't know, an evolved wasp, you should be assuming Hulk, right? Like these are fairly obvious things. Know what else goes in these decks. But more than that. Let's say they're a Darkhawk deck, Zabu comes out on 2, and turn 3 they play Iron Lad. You know immediately that they don't have Rock. If they had Rock Slide, they should be playing Rock Slide, right? Or they played poorly. They should be playing Rock Slide because messing up your draw is more important than playing an extra early Iron Lad. You also know that on turn 4, if they play Lad and they don't hit Rock Slide, they're not going to have Rock Slide on turn 4 either. They are now behind the curve with their Darkhawk. You play a big card and they don't snap. You know that either they're not running Shang or they haven't drawn him yet. Good. Like you've got that big advantage. They don't have the answer if they're not snapping, unless again they're playing poorly. You're playing an Evo deck and they drop Luke. You now can tell that they're the Afflict version, right? They drop Shocker. Now they're in Shinnot, and you even, unless that card comes out like the next turn, know that they hit one of their big things and you start to plan accordingly. That means they don't need to magic. They're likely to skip 5, not 6, because there's anything you can do to mess that up to spread extra power out early. Versus Loki, are they playing spread out or tight? There's still a lot of Loki decks that are running Elsa out there. If they're playing cards like 2 or 3 into one lane and then they're trying to get out of there, then they're an Elsa Loki deck. And if they're spreading their cards out trying to maintain space, they are a Werewolf. What I'd like to invite you all to do, anyone who made it this far, thank you, sub by the way, please come up with some more of these examples in the comments. Let's try and get a list going of different things we can tell when our opponents make certain plays. Ooh. Deck 3. We've got Juno 2, Juno 2's Infinity, and he called it Rackery? I don't know why. Whatever. It's a cool Thanos Valkyrie deck. My favorite deck ever in the game was a Thanos Valkyrie deck that ran like an original beast. It was a Lamby deck. He called it Valhalla. It's when I first heard of him. So anytime you stick Valkyrie in a deck with Thanos, my happiness meter creeps up. It was literally running Valkyrie, Thanos, Devil Dinosaur, and Blue Mark. Right? So like fantastic. And Wave. So then the other cards are different, but whatever. And Shang. Well, whatever. Let's move on from me figuring all this out on that as we go. This deck is absolutely sick. Basically, it wants to steal a lane with Professor X. It uses Wave to ramp Professor X or Wave and Mobius on 5 to say, well, I can play a 6 and something else, but you can't. Or it can just drop like Professor X and then like turn 5 go like Mobius and Jeff and say, let's mess up your like Sarah play. If they're a Sarah deck or a bounce deck or whatever, Mobius still has homes in all of these different ways. He's just a tech piece. This is a tech deck. That's why Invisible Woman is here. Because if you want to get that early Shang out, right? Like you Invisible Woman, then turn 4 you can drop a Shang. Or you can hide a Valkyrie, or you can psych them out if you know they have Cosmo. Do that and then drop Devil Dino there. And steal a lane that way. Lots of different ways to win. And of course, you can end the game with your lovely, if Blue Marvel is out, just Valkyrie and auto win that lane, or Soulstone with Valkyrie and just win the lane that way. All right, so Jeff is needed because there's not a lot of ways to pump that Professor X lane. There's just Blue Marvel and Jeff, so you really, really need Jeff. Jeff is also great with Valkyrie. You're going to need Thanos as a Thanos list. Mobius can be Psylocke. I'm not even sure that Mobius is better as Mobius than Psylocke. But we're going to keep Mobius here for now because there's just games he wins because no one expects him. Like they Loki on 5 at Mobius, and all of a sudden they're just not, they're like, oh, well, this is obnoxious. I can play one mediocre thing, and I'm Valkyrieing and dropping Devil Dinosaurs and so on. It's better. Yeah, it's better. All right. Turn 1 draw. Turn 2 I prefer draw to Jeff, but I'll play Jeff. Because I want to get set up for Professor X generally. I will also play Invisible Woman and Luke. Turn 3, I want either Time Stone or Wave into Professor X, Blue Marvel, or Devil Dino. I will Wave happily into Thanos as well. If I don't have that, then the same basic play order as turn 2. Don't be afraid, by the way, to hide Luke behind Invisible Woman if you're worried that they might have an answer. Turn 5, same general order as turn 4, but I put Dino ahead of Blue Marvel. Shang-Chi is more common than Rogue and Enchantress, so I'd prefer to get Blue Marvel out on turn 4. On turn 5, I don't mind nearly as much getting Dino out, though again, I would prefer that to be behind Invisible Woman where possible. Turn 6 is Valkyrie in a 1. You can also play Shang Invisible Woman or Shang Shadow King. All of these are excellent last turn plays that steal cubes. This deck is awesome. Thanks, Juno. Juno is definitely worth following, by the way. He's smaller, he's newer. You get the benefit of a really cool person supporting on the ground floor. I always love to do. All right, let's do some quick variants. We've got my favorite Luke. I don't know why. I like it even better than the hip. We've got, thankfully, oh, no. Thought we had more. Oh, no, we do. I missed Wave. We've got the standard 4 hips, Wave, Mobius, which is one of the best variants in the game, Jeff, Glorious, Blue Marvel, which I have gold. You'll love to see it. Alex Ross's Woman is great. We talked about Shadow King earlier. This is my favorite Valkyrie. I like how she's lit, like, it feels actiony. This is my favorite Professor X, Cozy Devil Dino. I've got this Adam Shangan Gold, and I love this Thanos. It is the best Thanos until the Infinity Gauntlet comic cover one comes out. All good? All good. My shop for the day was Sag. I bought nothing. Nothing was even really in consideration. One, I'm not spending gold on pixels. Just not. I have multiple good Ghost Riders. I'm still stuck at 15 cards that I don't need variants for. Still need variants for, because none of the others have shown up in shop. But I'm not buying Pixel Ghost Rider, Pixel Galactus, Pixel Sentry. It's way too many pixels. And I'm not buying variants if I have a hip, and I have a hip lad and a hip brood, so like those are out. I also have another iron lad and another brood, both of which I like better than these. I like Jacinto's art, but this brood doesn't feel. I've got this cool bundle negative, and those two negatives feel very similar, so it feels like there's no real need to buy another. You saw the propellery Quinjet earlier. I also have this cool devilish one. So I don't know. I'm not buying blueprints just for that. And finally, you saw Cozy Devil Dino. I also have the Twitch Drop Devil Dino. No necessity for that card either. I did, however, pull an extra hip just for free, just for fun. I got the Crystal one. Super happy to have her. She replaces the cool Wanted poster one. Sad, but no big deal. All right, final thoughts. Please remember to sub, like, comment. We appreciate you. Check out Juno 2 Tress. Check out the LambyFam or Lamby himself. Check out KM Best. KM has a ton of gameplay with that deck up on his YouTube. We appreciate your support, and we will see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Giveaway will be Tuesday, and during the giveaway, we will also be covering the entire new season, every spotlight cache, reviewing every card, decks for every major card, decks for every card coming out in the spotlights this week. Tons of Ms. Marvel thoughts, feedback from multiple great players. Be ready. Coming soon. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all.